New Perspectives on Computer Concepts 2013, Chapter 5, Local Area Networks. In this video, you will learn about network building blocks, wired and wireless technologies, network setup, sharing files, wireless security. Section A, Network Building Blocks. In this section, you will learn about network classifications, LAN advantages and disadvantages, network devices, network links, communications protocols. Personal Area Network, or PAN, is the interconnection of personal digital devices, or consumer electronics. Local Area Network, or LAN, usually connects computers in a single building. Metropolitan Area Network, or MAN, is a public high-speed network with a range of about 50 miles. Wide Area Network, or WAN, covers a large geographical area and typically consists of several smaller networks. LANs enable people to work together. Sharing network software can reduce costs, and sharing data on a LAN can increase productivity. Sharing networked hardware can reduce costs and provide access to a wide range of services and specialized peripheral devices. One disadvantage of LANs is that when a network malfunctions, all the resources you are accustomed to accessing are unavailable until the network is repaired. LANs are vulnerable to unauthorized access and are more vulnerable to malicious code. Each connection point on a network is referred to as a node. To connect to a LAN, a computer requires network circuitry, sometimes referred to as a network interface card, or NIC. A networked peripheral, or network-enabled peripheral, is any device that contains network circuitry to directly connect to a network. A network device, or network appliance, is any electronic device that broadcasts network data, boosts signals, or routes data to its destination. This figure illustrates how a small LAN uses network devices, such as a router, to connect computers and peripherals. A communications channel, or link, is a physical path or frequency for signal transmissions. Bandwidth is the transmission capacity of a communications channels, such as broadband and narrowband channels. Communications protocols are rules for efficiently transmitting data from one network node to another. Communications protocols divide messages into packets, affix addresses to packets, initiate transmission, regulate flow of data, check for transmission errors, and acknowledge receipt of transmitted data. A packet is a parcel of data that is sent across a computer network. The figure on the right illustrates the difference between circuit switching technology and packet switching technology. Every packet that travels over a network includes the address of its destination device. A MAC address is a unique number assigned to a network interface card when it is manufactured. An IP address is a series of numbers used to identify a network device. IP addresses can also be obtained through DHCP. Section B, Wired and Wireless Technologies. In this section, you will learn about wired basics, Ethernet, wireless basics, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi. A wired network uses cables to connect network devices. Wired networks are fast, secure, and simple to configure. Devices tethered to cables have limited mobility. Ethernet is a wired network technology that is defined by IEEE 802.3 standards and simultaneously broadcasts data packets to all network devices using IEEE 802.3 and CSMA-CD protocols. Ethernet speeds vary from 10 megabits per second to 100 gigabits per second. As this figure shows, most computers have a built-in Ethernet port. You can determine the speed of your computer's Ethernet adapter using network utilities. A wireless network transports data from one device to another without cables or wires using RF signals, transceivers, microwaves, and infrared light. Wireless networks are slower than wired networks and introduce security concerns. Bluetooth is a short-range wireless network technology designed to make its own connections between two devices. Wi-Fi refers to a set of wireless networking technologies defined by IEEE 802.11 standards. As the top figure illustrates, wireless ad hoc networks are conceptually simple but provide few security safeguards. This type of connection is best limited to occasional use when you want to temporarily connect two computers to share a few files. The bottom figure shows that wireless infrastructure networks use a centralized device to handle data that travels from one device to another. If your computer is not pre-equipped with wireless circuitry, you can purchase and install a Wi-Fi adapter. Section C. Network Setup. In this section, you will learn about Setup Overview, Router Installation, Router Configuration, Internet Connection, Device Connection. To set up basic Wi-Fi, you will need to plug in the router, connect the router to a computer, configure the router, access the router setup utility, create a new router password, enter an SSID for the network, activate WEP, WPA, or PSK and create an encryption key, connect an Internet access device, and set up the wireless workstations. For wired and wireless connections, look for a wireless N router that includes a gigabit Ethernet switch. Make sure the number of Ethernet ports is sufficient for the number of wired devices that you intend to connect. This figure illustrates how network devices serve different purposes. Before using your network, you should adjust the router's configuration settings, which are stored in the router's EEPROM, to make sure your network is secure. You must connect a computer to the router and use the computer's browser to access the router configuration utility. In this figure, the configuration utility used to set up wireless security is supplied by the router manufacturer. In this example, security is being configured for a Linksys router. An SSID, or Service Set Identifier, is the name of a wireless network. Use the router configuration software to change the default SSID. Each workstation requires a unique address for sending and receiving data. Wireless encryption scrambles data transmitted between wireless devices, and then unscrambles the data only on devices that have a valid encryption key. Wireless encryption protocols include WEP, WPA, and PSK. Your internet service provider supplies a device called a modem that is designed to carry data to and from the internet, and typically has a standard Ethernet port that can be connected to a router. Most routers supply a WAN port designed for an internet connection. Plug a standard network cable into the router's WAN port and connect the other end of the cable into the internet modem. As these figures illustrate, your internet modem should have an Ethernet port. Look for a port labeled WAN or Internet on your router. If one does not exist, then use any of the other Ethernet ports. Simply turn on any Windows computer with wireless capability and make sure that it is in range of your router. Macs automatically sense available networks and give you the option of connecting to them. Any device that has Wi-Fi capability should be able to connect to your network. As this figure illustrates, the easiest way to connect a printer to your network is to purchase a network-ready printer that connects to a router. Section D. Sharing Files. In this section, you will learn about file sharing basics, accessing shared files, sharing your files, file servers, network troubleshooting. File sharing allows files containing documents, photos, music, and other data to be accessed from computers other than the one on which they are stored. Once your network gives you access to other computers on the network, you can view a list of files stored there. To see a list of devices on your network, you can use your operating system's file management utility. Network discovery is a setting that affects whether your computer can see other computers on a network, and whether your computer can be seen by others. These figures show how network devices and shared folders are displayed in the Finder and Windows Explorer. As these figures illustrate, if you want to share files, make sure that the global file sharing setting is turned on. When you activate file sharing, files in public folders can be accessed by other network users, and you can also make specific files shareable. If you want the convenience of sharing files, limit what you share and who you share it with. Assign permissions to files and limit sharing to specific people. Remove sharing from files you no longer want to share, and use a home group if your network is composed of Windows computers. A home group is a collection of trusted Windows computers that automatically share files and folders. As this figure illustrates, in Windows, you can share files in public folders, or designate files that you want to share. A file server is a computer whose primary purpose is to be a repository for files that can be accessed by network workstations. Network problems can stem from a variety of sources, such as cables, signal strength, security, interference, network devices, settings, and switches. Section E, Wireless Security. In this section, you will learn about Wi-Fi security, encryption. Networks with wired or wireless connections are vulnerable to a variety of threats. Wireless signals are broadcast through the air, and like the signals from a radio station, they can be picked up by any device equipped with a receiver tuned to the right frequency. As this figure illustrates, software tools such as Insider help locate and identify secured and unsecured networks. Once logged on to an unsecured wireless network, hackers are free to do anything from stealing the network owner's credit card or bank information to attacking computers in other networks. Your network router maintains a list of clients that are accessing your network using wired or wireless connections. Encryption transforms a message so that its contents are hidden from unauthorized readers. Plain text has not yet been encrypted. An encrypted message is referred to as a ciphertext. Decryption is the opposite of encryption and uses cryptographic algorithms and cryptographic keys. Make sure you're aware of weak versus strong encryption. AES, or Advanced Encryption Standard, is one of the strongest cryptographic algorithms. Encryption methods can be broken by the use of expensive, specialized code-breaking computers. Public key encryption, or PKE, eliminates key distribution problem by using one key to encrypt a message and another key to decrypt the message. When personal computer users want to encrypt email or other documents, they turn to public key encryption software, such as PGP or Pretty Good Privacy, GNU Privacy Guard, or AxeCrypt. That completes New Perspectives on Computer Concepts 2013, Chapter 5.